What would it take for you to consider yourself rich? So whatever that might mean, you think about that for a moment, right? What would it take for you to consider yourself rich? Because that question is a bit of a loaded question. It's interesting in a sense that there have been a lot of studies that have been done that have looked at this issue of people and how they perceive themselves and how much wealth they have. And generally, these studies have found that those who are rich actually don't consider themselves to be rich. And so it's kind of an interesting, dynamic there where studies, again, have been done that have found that really richness or wealth is a moving target. So at whatever income level you may be at right now, generally the perception is that you would need about double what you're currently at to consider yourself rich or wealthy. And so that's interesting because it doesn't matter really what the income or what the level, but about double. And so, for example, if you make about $50,000 per year, right? So you would think that about $100,000 you would consider yourself rich or wealthy. But if you make $100,000, then you would think, okay, $200,000 would consider myself rich or wealthy. And so there's a lot of factors that go into that, but it also shows that really the meaning of rich or wealthy are quite subjective. Right? Because it really depends on your situation, on your location, on your life stage, and many other factors, whether how you perceive the wealth that you have. But what I want to challenge us to think about today is that here in this room, that we are, by the vast majority, I would say, we are all rich. And I'll explain why, because the problem is when we consider whether we ourselves are rich or not, we are usually comparing ourselves to whether it be other people we know in our lives or people we see on social media who are also rich, all the while thinking that we are not, right? We're not that person rich. Right? So it's really subjective how we consider ourselves. And so for some perspective, an author by the name of Steve Williams once wrote this. He said, from the standpoint of material wealth, Americans have difficulty realizing how rich we are. So he's talking about Americans, but it can apply to us Canadians as well. So going through a little mental exercise suggested by Robert Heilbronner can help us to count our blessings. However, so imagine doing the following, and you will see how daily life is for as many as 1 billion people in the world. So you can think about this as I read this. So number one, take out all the furniture in your home except for one table and a couple of chairs. Use blanket and pads for beds. Number two, take away all of your clothing except for your oldest dress or suit, shirt or blouse. Number three, empty the pantry and the refrigerator except for a small bag of flour, some sugar and salt, a few potatoes, some onions, and a dish of dried beans. 4, dismantle the bathroom, shut off the running water, and remove all the electrical wiring in your house. 5, take away the house itself and move the family into the tool shed. 6, place your house in a shanty town. 7, cancel all subscriptions to newspapers, magazines, streaming services, and book clubs. This is no great loss because now none of you can read anyways. 8, leave only one radio for the whole shanty town. 9, move the nearest hospital or clinic 10 miles away and put a midwife in charge instead of a doctor. 10, throw away your bank books, stock certificates, pension plans, and insurance policies. Leave the family a cash hoard of $10. 11, give the head of the family a few acres to cultivate on which he can raise a few $100s of cash crops, of which 1/3 will go to the landlord and 1/10 to the money lenders. Number 12, lop off 25 or more years in life expectancy. And the author concludes, by comparison, how rich we are. And with our wealth comes responsibility to use it wisely, not just to be wasteful and to help others. Think on these things. And so hopefully as I share that with you, it just gets us thinking, right? That if we compare ourselves really with the rest of the world, right, there is an immense amount of wealth, even just within this room with the people that are sitting here right now. And in fact, even if we don't even compare ourselves to the rest of the world, and even just within Canada. So according to the 2020 Canadian Income Survey, so this is Stats Canada, that was released in March of 2022, the median after-tax income, so median means, so if you take all of the population, what they make, so the median is what is right in the middle, right? So the median after-tax income of Canadian families and unattached individuals was $66,800. And so that's for a household, meaning that if your family or your household makes above that number, $66,800, then your family is already making more than 50% of households in Canada. Right? And so sometimes it's pointed out in some of these studies, it's better to use the median number rather than the average number, basically because you have a lot of very rich people that skew the number, the average, higher. And so the median income is $66,800. But again, the point that I want to make this morning is that we are rich. We have an immense amount of wealth. We have all been blessed with an abundance of material wealth.